even if the data said, for most people, it takes 10,000 hours, well, for most people, they do things the wrong way. Or certainly at least, it's true. It's true. I mean, because what choice do they have? They can't become an expert in everything, so what do? They look at what appears to have the most commercial success, like a Rosetta Stone, and they go buy a Rosetta Stone. It's not the fastest way.
One of the attractions of the 10,000 hours is, I know what I'm doing now. I'm becoming an incredible violinist, and if I practice, I'll get to Carnegie Hall. This other thing is, I'll just keep on learning. How are you finding that so far? You've been at it for, what, 10 years or 15 years now of, learn. What happens over that sequence of events for people like you who do that?
Yep. So over time, I get better at acquiring skills. So the meta skill.
Right.
I think that if I'm applying my 10,000 hours towards anything, it's probably that. Like the Isaac Asimov, I don't know, I think it was Asimov who wrote like 15 million books, but at one point, I remember an interviewer asked him about one of the subjects he'd written about, and he had no idea. He couldn't answer it. And they go, well, you wrote a book about it. And he goes, I did, but I've written a lot of books. And they go, well, what are you an expert on? And he goes, I'm an expert at being an expert. For me, variety is the spice of life, and that doesn't mean that I shortchange myself. I mean, I feel like I can get to a very high level in these various fields in a relatively short period of time, certainly a year or less. And the incremental gains past that point are just not appealing to me. I think it's a very individual choice. If you are, through God-given skill, capable of becoming the best in the world at X, I feel typically people know that early on. I mean, if you're Tiger Woods and you're instead of drawing pirate ships, you're drawing trajectories of different irons. I'm not kidding. I saw this drawing. It's like, yeah, that's not normal. That's not normal. But for most people, I feel like they have the capacity to be exceptionally good in the top 5% in the world in many different areas, but they may not have or be able to identify the raw attributes that are going to push them into, bobsledding, because there are only so many things that you can try. And for me, I could try to become perfect in Japanese, which of course will never happen because I won't be perfect in English. Or I could get to the point where I can converse like this in maybe 20 languages by the end of my life, and it's just more appealing.